We're going. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Cruise Control right back at you live this time. Episode 3. We decided to be spontaneous. Just do it live. Why not? A lot going on this week. Guys, welcome back to Slam Big Cruise Control. And once again, my man, my co-host for Cruise Control, Logan Myers. What's happening, man? How's your week? Welcome back to the show.
It's been a great week. Episode 3, Travis. Can you believe it? Time is flying. Pun intended.
Goody. And real quick, before we get into our first ever Cruise Control live show, Logan, where can everyone check you out and what you do?
Check me out on Twitter, Logan Myers 144 at Logan Myers 144.
Very nice. And Logan, it's been another week. We are 1 week away from Extreme Rules this Sunday, which will be the first time you and Matt have been on the same show. All 4 of us as one for the first time live on Slam Pigs. For the post show, be sure to be there live Sunday night immediately following the pay-per-view. Logan, I know you're fired up.
Fired up? That's an understatement. Criticize yourself if you think 205 Live is a flop. The fans have it all wrong. 205 Live in the Cruiserweight division isn't a flop. The creative ways are a flop, but the division itself is not a flop. It shouldn't ever be called a flop. The ones calling it a flop should pack their bags and go watch Impact whatever, because that's the definition of flop.
Wow. I didn't even mention that. I just talked about our show, and you were that fired up. You wanted to go right into it. That's fine because, yeah, a lot of stuff's come out this week. Some feedback, some viewership, some actual facts that everyone knows about by now. Logan, you actually told me off air the actual, like, the ratings and whatnot 205 Live, the show's been getting, like, the past month or two on the network as far as, like, the top 20 most watched shows or 10 or whatever. Yeah, what is going on with that? Because a lot of people are up in arms and there's a huzzah. The show might be around not much longer. Like, what's going on with 205 Live, man?
Well, backstage news that I've received that 205 Live isn't drawing big numbers. 205 Live isn't even in the top 20 watched. According to Wrestling Observer, WWE 205 Live continues to draw poor numbers on the WWE network. Over the past week, the show was not even in the top 20 most watched shows on the WWE network and was watched less than a 3-month-old episode of Ride Along and the 1998 Halloween Havoc pay-per-view.
It doesn't get old anytime you tell me that part of it, like about the Halloween Havoc one. But yeah, wow. And you know what? What can you say? They shot them goddamn selves in the foot once again with something that they had good in the beginning, and they just can't help themselves. They just can't fucking help it. And we all know, it's not like we got to wax intellectual about the topic. We all know the problems with 205 Live. You actually yourself, though, Logan, were telling me you got into it with somebody this week. It was up in arms, as I said, about it's been a flop. They said the 205 Live show in there, in a lot of people's eyes, and myself included. I'll come out in my opinion, 205 Live as a whole, not just benefiting one talent or another talent, as a whole package has been a complete flop, beyond flop, because Halloween Havoc '98 like, and that wasn't even a good Halloween Havoc. That was a terrible. That one had the Warrior and Hogan 2, one of the worst matches ever. So, woof. Logan, what do you got, man?
So much potential. So much potential in 205 Live. 205 Live could have became the cruiserweight division as a whole could have became something bigger than what many people expected. But like you said, they shot themselves in the foot. They did a Plaxico Burris in a freaking bar, and they shot himself in the leg when it came to it.
You could say
You know,
the ratings
uh,
on the network are so bad for 205 Live, they shot themselves right in the dick, not in the foot. Like, everyone loved the Cruiserweight tournament. Like, there was such a buzz, just as much as
Classic
NXT
was
had.
so amazing. Like
It's
it felt like the cruiserweight division as a whole. We watched the cruiserweight classic, it felt important. Now, what does it feel like, Travis?
it feels like superstars or main event. It doesn't feel like it was what it should be, and a lot of that isn't on the faults of any of the talent. You know what I mean? Like, we're still getting, for what it's worth,
So
like you
much
said in the very
talent.
first episode of this show, you get longer in ring action, but that's great. But with a dead crowd, the match could be a 5-star match, and it would just kill it, in my opinion, because let's be honest, these crowds, 9 times out of 10 for all of these shows, episodes of 205 Live, are completely dead because what they follow, what they seen first. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. And this past episode of 205 Live, I know I'm not jumping into the reviews or anything, but did you see the crowd, Travis? They had the spotlight taken
Yeah,
off the whole section
bad. It was
and blacked it out.
bad, dude.
It looked like an episode of Impact Wrestling. But of course, they still had more fans than them.
True. I mean, what can you say? But I mean, to say it's a flop, in your opinion, why hasn't it been a flop? Because I know you don't think it has. Because I know certain
Well,
aspects, like I said, to get a certain talent over, it hasn't. Like a Neville, it's totally given Neville a chance to reinvent his career.
Neville, okay, let me say this right now. Okay. The roster, the cruiserweight division roster. Okay, you have Mustafa Ali. You're a big fan. I'm a big fan. Um, Cedric Alexander has so much potential. Rich Swan, TJP, all these. You can go through the whole entire list. Tony Nese is underrated. You like Drew lately. The whole
Drew
roster,
McIntyre.
it
Drew
benefits
Gulak.
them.
Yes. I thought you meant McIntyre for a second.
I know I was thinking about that for a second. Like that, if you take all that talent, and you put them in a box, the fans get to see some of the best independent talent that has potential to be on, let's say, the main roster in WWE, that could easily become something in NXT, and they get the spotlight on them. That's the good thing. That's the part of it that's not a flop. Of course, Neville reinvented himself, becoming a heel. He became something bigger than what many people thought. What did you think personally, Travis, when he was a face?
I, it did nothing for me. You know what I mean? I don't think it did anything for anybody. Besides, everybody popped when he hit the red arrow, but besides that, even in NXT, when he was given a chance to have better, like Sami Zayn, I thought his best match since he's ever been in the company was the Sami Zayn at our Evolution or whatever, when Sami Zayn won the NXT title. That's probably the best they ever booked him as a babyface, because then they gave him a purple cape, and then they're like, he has floppy ears, so let's make it jokey and throw it in a promo, and then let's put him in there with an actor, which, to the credit of the Green Arrow guy, what was his name? That he had the match, Stephen Amell, he had like that tag match with at SummerSlam or something like that.
Even
Not
actually
one
did
of the
do that
one of
back.
the better celebrity appearances. Like Stephen Amell, to his credit, did good in the ring, I thought, for a celebrity. But it was just bad. It was bland. It was vanilla. And I don't like to see guys get injured a lot, but I think when he got injured and had to go away, it was the best thing that ever happened for him.
I completely agree. I mean, he reinvented his whole character. Whoever decided to book him into the cruiserweight division, I applaud them. But the whole creative control of the cruiserweight division has flopped. That's what's flopped with the division. Not necessarily the talent. The talent has done nothing to say that they flopped, because look how much good talent that's on the cruiserweight division.
Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. How long, at this rate, flat out, I'll put you on the spot, man. How long do you see 205 Live sticking around? Because I don't see it maybe past the fall season, and then they pull the plug at this rate. Like, it's costing them money to run the show longer. It's more, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's gone, or?
Uh, they need something, Travis. They need something that's going to bring them ratings. They need something that's going to keep the crowd
Nothing is getting
interested and keep
ratings though
the
at this
crowd.
point. Not the main roster is floundering on basically a level of a 205 Live. Nobody is watching anything right now except unless an NXT. You know what I mean? And that is a certain demographic type audience. You can't. I don't know, man. And we've seen people come out and say it. We've
I'm
seen tuna Meltzer come out and say it lately. We're in a weird time in the business where like Meltzer didn't say thriving, but like the indies right now, it seems like they're doing better in a way than anything related to WWE, because attendance is way up on like an ROH with doing their mix shit with New Japan. People were buying tickets to that stuff, regardless if you like the Young Bucks, if you like Bullet Club, if you like Marty Squirrel, if you're into that stuff. People are there are people that do like it, and as much as I don't like a Young Bucks type match, that's why I'm thankful there are different kinds of styles, because at least the business is prospering on that end of it. Like, to just have a business flat out killed would be a crime just because of one old crazy old fucking man named Vince McMahon who doesn't know when to step down, doesn't know when to take his fingers out of the pie. It's shocking still that Triple H has had this much quote unquote control of NXT or anything else, because Vince is that much of a control freak. Man, in this week's episode, when we get into it, this had so much shit that screams what Vince would do. What's wrong with 205 Live? Sasha Banks, mixed tech, fucking weaves. Weaves were a focal point on an angle in a match this week. Holy
yeah.
shit, Logan.
Can I mention something real quick? One thing.
Well,
If
I
they
do want,
want
yeah, you can,
ratings,
real
we
quick,
talked
Logan.
about.
I want to say real quick. We don't have a regular Slam Pig show this week. We're just doing the post show. So Michael and I didn't get a chance to do a Raw review. Speaking of bad, speaking of terrible, you know what I'm talking about, Logan. I think we haven't addressed it on any show yet. So if you want to bring it up, let's talk about This Is Your Life.
This was a terrible, terrible segment. Terrible. I mean, um, there's a lot that you can say of what went wrong, and can let's be honest. Alexa Bliss tried her hardest, her damned hardest, to keep that segment, and make it something, right, Travis? It wasn't Alexa Bliss's fault. She was thrown into something that was pathetic.
Very rarely,
It was.
and I agree with the Alexa thing, but very rarely am I going to defend Bailey. And I'll even say this wasn't even Bailey's fault. This was just, yeah. I don't think it was either woman's fault. It was just what they had to work with. I mean, you can be the best plumber in the world and fix any sink, but if your tools are rusted and your shit doesn't work, you're going to be a bad plumber. It's not going to end up good. There's still going to be a leak.
No, I completely agree with you. Um, uh, the only time I really liked the segment was when Alexa Bliss. Let's be honest. The only time I liked it is when the teacher's name was brought up, Mrs. Flapper. I chuckled. That
Of
was the
course
only
you
time I
did.
really enjoyed.
You would,
And when
of all people.
the two people, and
Shame.
then when the makeout the makeout thing happened, that was the only time I enjoyed it. Talking about her dolls, talking about this, talking about that, talking about her family, how she was in school. Why is that even brought up, Travis?
It
Why
was
why
brought
is
up
that
it
even important?
because it points back to the tired beating a dead horse thing of there's a crazy fucking old man in control and he's trying to make shit work that worked 20 years ago, Because, my God, we haven't done one of these in 20 years. Most of these people will forget it, even though it's on every goddamn fucking best of countdown of the Attitude Era, the This Is Your Life segment. It's been done. And you're taking two people, The Rock and Mick Foley, two of my favorite promos ever. Probably much anyone's in their prime. Even then, I thought that was long, that segment. And that was too long for even those two couldn't save this kind of gimmick booking. So with Bailey, the worst promo in the company, and a good Alexa Bliss, who's probably one of the best women on the mic, they didn't have stand
Bailey
a
is
fucking chance.
terrible. I mean, Bailey isn't as bad uh, as people what people would think. But like I said, like you said,
She's awful.
we both agree it wasn't the freaking talent. It was the creative decisions. And I'm trying to give him the benefit of the
Bailey
doubt,
had no,
Travis.
don't defend Bailey. Bailey had her chance because you always know someone is a good promo if they can do a promo on the spot and it's good and believable. And she had that chance and she was exploited live and she should have nailed it and she fucking flopped. And that makes her not a good promo. Even with written promo, she's terrible. Either way, she's bad. So it was proven on live fucking television that she's a bad promo. I just want to get that out there before you defend her again. She's awful, man.
we I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, Travis. I'm trying to stay positive because you know how bad the segment was. But you look at it as a whole, the only reason they even had this segment was because Bailey's too nice. She can't go extreme. And once she goes extreme at Extreme Rules, we're going to see a different side of Bailey. I hope on Sunday, this Sunday coming up, Extreme Rules, that match overshadows what we just saw
It, and that's
in that
great.
segment.
You know what the problem with that though is? And that's great. That's one fucking match. And you know what? That's going to get over and they're going to have their and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to get a pop from the crowd for the effort and it was a good match. And then the next night on Raw, they're going to do more shit like this, like they always do, no matter how good a women's match is on pay-per-view, and they're going to do that and it's going to mean nothing. And I'm tired of trying to stay positive for this so-called women's revolution we've been looking for almost 3 fucking years at this point. This shit's come and gone. It's like it's not happening, guys. It's always going to be Vince's way until the day he fucking dies. We just got to accept how things like the theme of this actual show is 205 Live, how the cruiserweights are being handled. It's just going to be that way, and it's not meant for us. It's that's why there's
Yeah.
ROHs. That's why there's New Japans. But
Okay.
when you're
We'll
masochist and
try
you love
that.
wrestling like us, you'll suffer through shit because you have to talk about it for a show.
Travis, why you mentioned the women's division as a whole? I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to throw something out there to you because I know you guys didn't get to do slam pigs this week. The what saved the women's this week was what was announced on SmackDown: Money in the Bank.
Ugh, big problems for me. One, who's in it? Two, I gotta walk a fine line. Fuck it. The work rate from women in the ladder match has been proven to never be on par with men. Until I'm proven wrong, I'm gonna stand by that. And I think it's gonna be a fucking train wreck, especially when you have people in there like Carmella and Tamina who have two left feet. Let's say it. They're not good. Natalia, she's
Well,
good. She's been
here,
proven in table matches and stuff. Natalia, I'm good with. Of course, Charlotte and
Charlotte, I can see a moonsault off the ladder.
I just shudder to think how this match would be without Charlotte in it and Becky Lynch. You know what I mean? Like how if it would have been like two people were oh god. Like
Tamina's going to help. I can't see Kamal.
I hope they prove me wrong. I don't want to come off like this. They're
Yeah,
unfair. No, and I want to be proven wrong by them. I want them to show me a hell of a fucking match. I just don't see it happening. You know what I'm saying?
Carmella is not going to be able to pick up a damn ladder and put it up. Not those heavy ladders. Tamina's in there to help do that. Uh, and I don't know if you noticed, but on Twitter, Lana has requested to be in the sixth person in the Money in the Bank.
Why not? Fuck it. At this point, God, SmackDown
I'm
is
actually
a
excited about
cool
that.
mistress. I, I'm
I mean,
if she makes her debut at Money in the Bank, yeah, that's something. It's worth a spectacle. I mean, we at least they'll give it to us instead of like Emelina finally. So, but what I was going to say, since we're talking about the women's division as a whole, a lot of people can come at me with this. I don't really think, Leah, the Asuka streak has benefited one person in the NXT Women's Division the whole time, Asuka. It's never benefited anyone else really. I think the feud with Bailey didn't do anything for either one. I just didn't think they had a lot of chemistry, so they kind of moved on from that. I think this has done nothing but hurt Ember Moon. It's made her look weak, especially it's not her fault she got injured, but just bad timing. Like come right off a loss like that, no chance of redemption. So you got to wait like 6 months. Apparently, by the way, was breaking this week on Ember Moon being out. We'll see. We'll see if that's a work or not. But I'm pretty sure it's 6 months, Logan, for Ember. I don't. I mean, yeah, I just God, it's only benefited Oscar. That's my only problem with streaks in wrestling. Somehow, some like you can get beat in the match by the guy with the streak, and you can attack him after and beat the shit out of him and still come out looking strong. But the only time that really happened to Oscar is when it took like two women with like Peyton Royce and Billy Kay. So it took more than one. There's never been anyone. I thought it was finally going to be Ember who was booked like an equal of Oscar, but they booked her like this gullible baby face. Like she should have known better. Like Oscar could push a ref into the rope. Like it just made Ember look dumb, and the injury did her no favors and made her look weak in a way. I don't know. What do you think about the Oscar thing?
They they don't have too much talent in the women's division on NXT, do they?
They really don't. I mean, not to say that the women aren't talented. They're a bunch of serious upstarts. Like really, you've got the MMA fighter girl out there now who's I think they changed her name. It used to be something else. I apologize for forgetting, but you know who I'm talking about. And it's really annoying how she keeps doing like the little Mac from Punch Out punches. And she does it so much. It's like on that level of Dana Brooke annoying me when she flexes. But yeah, and that one chick, what's her face? Liv Morgan. I really don't like her character. I mean, I think she's all right in the ring. They just need to tweak that character because it's bland as vanilla ice cream. But you're right, Logan. There's not a lot there, and I don't know when Asuka
And
comes up. What then? What you know what I'm saying? Then what is the biggest question?
here's the thing with the NXT women's division right now. Once we get the women's Mae Young Classic, the tournament in July, I think it is. That's what they're trying to push for is to wait until that happens, wait till that ends, and then try to sign as much talent as they possibly can, put them on NXT. Then you might end up building some big good talent. I mean, look at you know, think I think who's next? If it's true that it's 6 months for Ember Moon, then who is gonna face Asuka at the NXT?
I mean, they announced they signed that other girl from Japan, whose name I can't remember either. She's supposed to be a former rival of Asuka or whatever, or a big deal. Probably something like that. I could see. I don't know. It's a toss up.
Um,
Do you
do
think
you
they'll keep?
remember?
Do you think they'll keep it on Asuka until Ember comes back to quit, regardless of who she faces? Because I think why not at this point? She's already beaten the quote unquote long. Like, let's be real, guys. The longest streak in wrestling, officially, for the most part, is Moolah's run for like 20 years. I know it was kind of iffy those years, but officially on record before that, even though it's fabrication and probably not 20 years. If they want to go by their bullshit and their logic, then they're making themselves look dumb because that's their rules by saying Moolah had the longest. So they're making themselves look dumb again. What a shock. Think my head's
If you
over.
think about it, Travis, remember what happened? I think it wasn't it the takeover before Mania. They had Mickey James face Asuka.
Yeah.
Who was originally supposed to face her?
Trish Stratus.
Do you remember?
Trish Stratus, and then
Why
she
not
got
have
pregnant.
try to bring in Trish Stratus for SummerSlam? Trish Stratus for the NXT takeover for SummerSlam.
I could see that. I could also see, not that she's on the level, I could see them bringing Caitlyn back for maybe a one off. Um, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, the only time I think about Caitlyn is what somebody sent me on a text message the other day. He sent me this nude video of Caitlyn, and I just can't get that out of my mind. That's
Yeah,
the only thing I can really think relevant.
she was in the crosshairs of the one of the leak attacks, the recent ones, unfortunately for her.
Please, please, Travis, let's not even go there
You
on
got to be
the,
smarter, girls. I'm just anybody. You got to be smarter than that, especially if you're in the public eye. Always say it. Always say it.
especially the Charlotte pictures that kind of her, you
We're
know,
not going there. We're not
kind
going
of
there.
looks
But
like her.
yeah, let's to wrap up on all this bullshit. People like losing their minds about the ratings of 205 Live. I don't know why, and this always happens every time there's a rumor of Impact going out of business. Any quote unquote indie third party promotion, all of a sudden these supposed fans come out clamoring like, "Why? We love it." Where were you this whole time? It's like they always come out when it's announced. It might go under or something. It's too little, too late type thing. It's just one of the frustrating things I current fans irritate me with. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I there's so much that, like we say, you could have done with 205 Live. Not saying you had to keep it in full sale, there's so many like theaters, places they take NXT house shows on. Why not that? Why not take it with the NXT fucking house shows? You save a buck. You don't have to take all your lighting. Take your minimal lighting you would need. The talent in the cruiserweight division don't need pyro and fancy fucking lights to get themselves over. That's not what it's about with these guys. They don't need Alicia Fox. They don't need a quote unquote, in your
They
eyes, a
can
big name like Sasha Banks. They don't need extras. Just let the guys do their fucking thing. Let it be its own fucking thing and let it blossom. And that demographic of fan will always be there for it because they know that show, fans appreciate a show that doesn't insult their intelligence, is consistent, and is loyal in delivering what they say they're going to deliver. Nonstop in ring action. And you can say what we want. All the time we say how good these matches are. It is toned down like fuck since the tournament. You can agree, Logan. The in ring. They have toned it the fuck back so much.
definitely, 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 100%. Okay, at the end of the day, what if they're going to keep 205 live alive after SmackDown to keep the crowd coming back, to keep the crowd interested in staying in the arena, to get the ratings up, to be better than 1998 Halloween Havoc or a 3 month old episode of Ride Along? They need Rey Mysterio.
I agree. We actually talked about that off air.
They honestly need a big, 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 big name
And I
more
know that
than a stupid Brian Kendrick.
I wouldn't say Brian, like I don't think his, like we said last week, his promo was really good. It's not that he's stupid, that he's just not a big enough relic, or what do you want to, I don't want to say
It's
antique.
not a
He's
big
not
enough
that fucking
draw.
old, but an established guy. And I think Rey Mysterio at this point in his career, there's never been a more perfect fit for him in the company than to be, for now, somewhat of the face of 205 Live. If anything, and I'm not even the biggest Mysterio fan, and I don't think he's ever been a draw. I thought that ratings were bad when he every time he was the champ. But to his credit, I think he could put some new eyes on the product because he's always going to have his loyal fan base and kids fucking love him. They're always going to love, and it's like he never ages.
That's
It,
what's going to keep the fans at the arena too. Because look,
dude,
there's kids that love Rey Mysterio and love the mask and all that. They're
I
going to
didn't
want to
want to be
see
the
it.
I
And
didn't want to be
another
the
thing,
I didn't want to be the guy to say it, but I'm going to tell you flat out, as much as a good idea that looks on paper, I'm going to be the guy and I'm going to say why it probably isn't. His fucking injuries that have plagued him, and he's not how he used to be in the ring. You've seen him in Mexico, you've seen him in Lucha. He's a shell of what he could do in the ring before. And I think with the guys and these guys in 205 Live, no matter how bad the booking is, the shows, these guys can all fucking go. And that's why they were signed in the first place. And I think they would exploit Mysterio's age and his injuries that have plagued him. And I don't think the matches would be that great.
I mean, what look at the Jerry. I mean, he's the show of what he used to be too. But
Not
Rey
as
Mysterio is that.
I was really impressed by Tajiri. I'm really surprised you said that. I thought he didn't really miss a step when I saw him. And my like, and I think WWE
Well,
didn't agree either, so that's why they didn't keep him. Like they probably thought the same as you, but I didn't see a big difference in Tajiri when he came.
okay. Let me rephrase. Let me say what I was. I didn't mean it like that. I'm saying like he was a show of him former self, like like he wasn't. And they didn't make him seem important enough, and then he got hurt. Now when he was in the ring, he did. He really he didn't look like he did miss a beat. Like he was
Yeah.
actually really good. But we didn't get enough of him, I think, and I think that's what. I just think Rey Mysterio would put asses and keep asses in seats.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say asses. I think he would keep asses in his seats. Like, I think he would stop people from leaving that were already there. But you know what I mean? Like, oh well, it's 205
actually,
live time. It's we got to get up for work tomorrow. It's Tuesday night. Fuck 205 live. I think, well, let's stick around. At least the kids will love Mysterio, and it'll make them tired, and they'll sleep on the way home.
well, look at this, Travis.
I can't look at
I don't know
anything,
if you
Logan. We're doing a
noticed.
podcast with each other. I can't see you.
Hey, Travis. Okay, okay.
Do I need to play the Ernest Miller's theme music?
No, you do not. I will come through this phone and I will strangle you.
You will do no
Okay.
such thing. Because you know I hold all the power with the audio tricks and whatnot, so I could just make the cat pop up and tell you he's the greatest at any time. But yeah,
Well, listen.
I don't think it would put a lot of asses in the seats like new asses. I just think it would help it stay afloat, maybe more or less, like help it keep from going under. Because there's really
Well,
only
did
so
you
much you could
know
do with
that?
Mysterio. There's always a problem with Rey Mysterio because he's an underdog babyface. There's only so much you can always do with that because as great as the chase is, okay, the first he comes back. I'm guessing it would be Neville as a champ. Let's just fantasy book that he goes for Neville. That would be good. You know, he goes the younger champion who's a dick. He overcomes because of his age as a babyface. But you can only do that once. And the problem with Daniel Bryan when he won the title too is that it's not you've already accomplished the mission. So to see you keep reigning as champion, it's kind of lackluster. Like with Steve Austin, it was different. He was like the working man, so you rooted for him every step of the way. It's like, all right, we've seen the underdog thing. You won your belt, on to the next guy, and it's like there's only so much you can do. So what are you going to do? A whole other underdog story with him over again? No, but you can only book a guy like Mysterio as an underdog, in my opinion, and I think that's the problem with him. So maybe I wouldn't see him back for like maybe a couple months, like a Jericho run. Logan would make the most sense to me. That's what I would do with Mysterio, and then let him cool off, let him go away, bring him back around Rumble time, freshen him up a bit, get him in time for a Mania match, something like that. Why not?
Listen to this. I don't. I don't know if you know, but I read because you know I get a lot of news. WWE was using when John Cena was here on SmackDown Live. They actually used Cena to keep the crowd, to at least try to keep the crowd to stay. Did you know that since Cena's been gone, do you know who they've been using to keep the crowd
Styles,
put?
Styles.
No, Nakamura.
Ah, and it's not working obviously because
They've
205
been using
live before we get
Nakamura.
into the review this week, which we will get to, guys, but there's other things that needed addressed. Yeah, this crowd was empty as shit this week, so that's not working. You know what, I'm not gonna lie, I think they've already kind of dropped the ball on Nakamura. I really do. I don't want to be that guy yet, but it's not catching my interest. Throwing him in these tag matches out of nowhere, and I get it's Money in the Bank. He shouldn't. I would have kept him as like another attraction match at the next pay per view. I wouldn't even put him in the Money in the
Like
Bank.
Brock Lesnar.
No, no, I would have had him like another attraction, like another guy on SmackDown. I would have had him maybe there with Corbin at Money in the Bank, and have neither one of those guys in Money in the Bank, and then have other guys in Money in the Bank. Like I just think it's way too soon to put Nakamura in any title picture. That's what I would have done. But yeah,
I don't think he's going to be in the title picture, but I do see Baron. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to give him my prediction um, that Baron Corbin will win the Money in the Bank.
you stole my gimmick. You did that because I predicted that like 2 weeks ago. I made that prediction before the match was even announced, and you're totally gimmick infringement, brother. I'm talking like the Hawks.
I'm not trying to be. I'm just agreeing with you, Travis. Are you becoming Michael of this show?
No, I'm just messing with you. It's fun to do. I'm
Okay.
not gonna. I shout out to Michael. It is fun to mess with Logan a little bit.
Oh, don't start, Travis.
Well, you know, Michael on the Backlash post show you're on when you guys had your little tiff, he was upset about the Jinder Mahal stuff going in. So maybe it's the 205 Live stuff that has me grumpified. Like fucking, you know.
I can't really get mad at you for that because we
I'll try
do
to play
agree
nice,
on.
Logan. I'll try to play
Uh,
nice.
but we do agree on most of the stuff that we talk about on 205 Live. That what's missing, what pieces need to be added and subtracted, basically.
Yeah.
I think what you became a fan of Alicia Fox and Dar.
Well, you want to get right into this week's review then?
Do you want to just do it?
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to close out because you said you're like, man, we got to talk about. I'm really fired up. I didn't know if you had anything else to say. I'm like, because you never really answered if you think like 205 Live is going to be around. So what do you besides them? Okay, if Mysterio, they don't get a Mysterio type guy, we'll wrap this up. I promise, guys, and move on to the review. If they don't get a Mysterio or a name like that, do you think it's going to be around much longer?
I give it till SummerSlam,
Fair enough.
unless Rey Mysterio joins it or something changes. Uh, Maybe they do need to add 205 Live to the NXT show on Wednesday nights.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll like mix. I don't know. It's a weird spot.
It
Weird
could
spot
work.
they've got themselves in.
I mean, it could work, but at the same time, that's a lot of traveling if they're going to keep the cruiserweight division on Raw and then have them travel all the way back to Full Sail to do NXT.
Yeah,
Well, actually, no, because they tape it, you know.
I think if we're doing this, like I'm in charge of 205 Live, I think first thing I do now to fix things is I take it off the Raw brand. I think that's the very first thing that needs to be done. Just and you know what? Don't even announce it's going away because quite honestly, they could have Raw next week and not even have a cruiserweight segment and nobody would notice. Nobody would notice, and they could just carry on business as usual. You know what I mean, Logan? You don't even have to
I,
announce it.
I, I disagree.
You disagree?
They need to keep it on Raw. I think they need to keep it on Raw because I love having a cruiserweight match on the pay per views. Um, I think they need to cancel 205 Live after SmackDown and add it to NXT on Wednesday nights.
I think if anything, because
But
it's not like you they're on USA Network because it's on their own network. I say at the end of the day, give it one last shot, try to fix it. But if not that time, then just pull the plug on it at this point.
pull the plug on 205 Live on after SmackDown. But I think they should keep it on Raw, keep it important, and just keep it on Raw and keep the storylines on Raw. Because then, most of the eye will be on Raw, because everybody be viewing it.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
man, I tell you what, I guess no better time than now to get into this week's 205 Live review.
are you there, Travis?
205 Live. Logan this week. Live, baby, live from Atlanta, GA. And I don't know, we got a promo package kicking off, recapping the feud with Neville and Austin Aries. Like we said, this Sunday's Extreme Rules. Their submission match. A typical vignette that we've been seeing, it feels like, for weeks now, since like WrestleMania season. I think whoever wins, real quick, this Sunday night, Logan, I think the feud probably needs to end after this for me. Then I think it's going to be it's done too much. What do you think?
Do you want to give a prediction on who wins?
Yeah, go ahead. Who you got?
I got Austin Aries.
I got Neville, so that's interesting. So this Sunday, when you come on the post show, we will see who is the better man. But I think they're going to be Neville. I think they're really going to keep it on him, and I don't see Aries getting a run with the cruiserweight title. I don't see it happening. I see him essentially getting pushed up to the main roster. Like I just think they're going to notice he's too good. I don't know. That's what's.
But if you lose, see, this is, I don't think he needs to leave the cruiserweight division because of the fact that there is some talent, but I think if you lose Austin Aries, you lose something, a big chunk of what the cruiserweight division has become. Because I think Neville is the top dog, and number two to me is Austin Aries. Number three is Cedric Alexander.
I just think, in my eyes, I think Austin Aries in the cruiserweight division is just a test run. I think that's how they're using him to see how he's going to do. Besides NXT, because I don't know. And maybe because he's a TNA guy, it could be a rib. Like throw him out there with the dead crowd, see him get over with that shit. You know what I mean? I can see Vince totally being like that. We totally see it different perspectives. I think they're just
Oh,
gonna.
oh,
I think they're
by the
using
way,
him. I think we're still in the middle of this dominant Neville reign. I think Neville is literally so much better than even Austin Aries, and it showed on this episode on the mic. And I think they know that. And I think they're using Austin Aries like they use Kendrick, like an established guy. That's why I think we're getting to Cedric Alexander around the title. Because we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and format the show step the way what went down. But real quick, Logan, say your piece before we get into what you're gonna say.
um, why the hell is Kalisto not in the cruiserweight division?
Great question. Great question. I don't know. He's too busy falling in dump or pushing Braun in the dumpster and getting wins that way. He's got
I think Kalisto would be perfect in the cruiserweight division. Sin Cara should be in the cruiserweight division. I don't get it. Okay, for like what we saw that Sin Cara was going to be in 205 Live,
but it's
and then
not
all of a
gonna.
sudden,
It's not like either guy's gonna help it either way. You know, it's not gonna make a
no,
difference.
no, but uh, they need a couple more people in that division. I think Sin Cara is what's Sin Cara doing on the main roster? What Kalisto is losing by getting his tights pulled on Monday Night Raw to Titus O'Neil. I mean, what's it benefiting them to be on the main roster?
Nothing. Never has. Even when they were a tag team, it never did. Like I thought for a second when they were NXT tag team champions, I thought, okay, they might be champs on the main roster. Nope. Nope.
No,
But yeah, show kicked
I
off.
think
Unfortunately for us, Logan, with a recap of Alicia Fox, Noam Dar, and the whole drama with Sasha Banks and Rich Swann from Raw. And we got an entrance here and an in-ring promo with what was his terrible pet name for Alicia Fox, Logan, from Noam Dar?
I can't remember what the hell it was, but it kind of made me freaking like laugh a little bit. I was like, "What the hell did he just say?"
I think I'm completely floored that you didn't write it on your format. It was something like Fluffy Bunny or something. Something weird.
I
Like it would have been all over that.
I actually did. Um, I did write down what he was like talking about, but I actually missed what he said, and then I just didn't get to write it down, but I do remember hearing it.
It was weird. And then Corey Graves made a joke about it, so that maybe saved it. But yeah, yeah, they cut a promo in the ring. What did you think of? I mean, it's Alicia Fox. It's pretty much what she's always done on the mic. Nothing great, but passable. The Scottish Supernova on the mic, Logan. Does he do it for you? Does he get a pass or no here?
I can't stand no M Door on the mic. I much rather listen to somebody scratch a chalkboard with their fingernails. I'd rather listen to the Cats theme song from WCW. I'm sorry, Travis, but um, I actually think Alicia Fox is better on the mic than No Amdar.
Is it just me? During the promo, when he did that at the very end, like you said, Alicia, with his accent, Fox. It sounded like Alicia Fox. Tell me it didn't. Is it me? Because that's what I heard. Like legit.
Well, I want to know how she Fox, Travis.
I I wish I knew the information to share that with you, but unfortunately, I don't know the info of how she Fox.
We can ask Cedric. Oh,
I can't. I guess I can't hate on Dar on the mic because I like Drew McIntyre on the mic,
I
so
can't say.
I can't say it's the accent. I've always said Noam Dar reminds me of Alex Wright, and I've seen since I've been doing Union Smack with our good pally Matt Tennant. Shout out to Matt Tennant. I've watched a lot more of his stuff from like ICW and stuff over there in Scotland and stuff like that, and I liked it. And I didn't like when I was first introduced to him in the tournament, but I didn't think they introduced him well. But still, it could be worse. I mean, it could have been somebody worse. I wasn't in love with it here. I still like the pairing. I just don't like this angle. I mean, I'd love to see Noam Dar in there for the title. Like, if Austin Aries would win, maybe his next challenger could be Noam Dar with Alicia Fox. Like, maybe something like that. He could be like the Miz of the
Um,
cruiserweight division, possibly. I don't know.
honestly, I can I can listen to Drew McIntyre talk on the mic. I he's
Oh
not
yeah.
as bad. I like listening to Matt talk because I think Matt's awesome. Shout out to him. I can't stand Noam Dar. I don't know what it is about how he talks or how his voice is. He just shouldn't talk on the mic. Alicia Fox is better, and just in personal opinion.
Well, it didn't get really any better for my viewing pleasure. Rich Swann came out. It's whatever. It's Rich Swann, Baltimore local boy. And then out came Sasha Banks, her first time ever on 205 Live. I mean, let's be honest here. The crowd was completely dead throughout the entire show, like we said earlier on this show. And I guess Sasha Banks, like they expected, she was going to get like, oh my God, it's Sasha Banks here, but nope, not really, Logan.
No, I think that's what they were pushing for. Oh, Sasha Banks on the 205 Live show. Maybe that will keep fans at the show. And that wasn't the case either. Because, me and you are a big fan of a lot of the talent in the cruiserweight division, but look at it, and a lot of fans expect it's late and all that. So having Sasha there
Like right
really
now
didn't
on our
benefit.
show, going late. Yeah,
That's
you
fine.
know,
Our show's 10 times better.
our show is what, Logan?
It's 10 times better.
I'm the greatest. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
That's what goes down here. See, you said it was better than No Amdar, and you ask, you receive. That's what happens when you want to go live, Pally. You get some Ernest Miller for your listening pleasure. While we try to get through Sasha Banks and Rich Swann. I mean, this match wasn't completely. It wasn't horrible. I mean, I've seen these two have way better, and it speaks to us talking about how they've toned down the style a lot. We've seen these two capable of so much better, and I thought the match was capable. We've seen them work a bunch too. They've had better matches. That's probably what it is, also. But I mean,
I
what's your
like I
good?
like Noam Dar in the ring. I love Noam Dar in the ring. I like how he uses the Shining Wizard. That's a great move for him.
Yeah,
Um, uh,
because you can do it to anybody.
he's really good. I like the fact that Noam Dar. Uh, we saw it on Raw and we saw it on 205 Live. He goes for a lot of those finger hand,
Yeah,
submissions, kind of, and I like that. It's like a little bit of technical wrestling more than the high flying. Noam Dar is actually really good in the ring, and I think he has good chemistry with Rich Swann.
yeah. Like the match wasn't bad. It was good. It was a WWE style match between these two, obviously, and having the two ladies on the outside didn't help. There was a promo with Sasha Banks before the match, also we didn't talk about, where talking about weaves and talking about your track is showing, and even the announcers are like, "What the hell does that mean?" Because I didn't know, Logan. I'm pretty sure you don't know anything about weaves either. So, and then of course, to the finish of the match, Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox got into it on the outside. She actually ripped out a part of her weave, which was, I don't know, it got a chuckle out of me at least. It's a weave spot. They always get a chuckle, but that was that,
But the
Logan.
we most important thing in that whole entire match and segment. It was over more
It was
than
over
the whole
more.
match and segment.
It got the biggest reaction in the whole match. Shout out to the weave. But thumbs up, thumbs down on this spot in the show, Logan.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, and apparently this is leading up to a mixed tag team match announced this Sunday between the two. Sasha Banks versus Swan, Alicia Fox, Noam Dar. Probably on the pre-show, I'm guessing. If anything, it'll be the PP break on the Extreme Rules show. But I don't know, man. Not a good way to kick off 205 Live this week, in my opinion. Here, it didn't really get any better. As much as you and I have praised Cedric Alexander, probably not the best on the mic, and that was shown because I didn't really know for sure. But yeah, this is the most I've ever heard him on the mic, and not that great. Some work needs done. But
We
yeah,
we both talked about this. We both talked about this, Travis, last week. on the last episode of Cruise Control,
Silly me.
how Cedric Alexander should not be pushed into any. It shouldn't even be talked about the Rich Swan and Noam Dar angle and all that. He shouldn't even be.
Yeah.
He should just push away from that, and just do something different. And then when they asked about his thoughts, it was just like, man, don't do it. Don't do it.
But I mean, he did say he was kind of looking on to better things, and that hinted at like for the title run. You know what I really don't like? I think the most is his music. It's not very good. It's actually annoying. I don't like the rapper on it. His voice is annoying to me. I don't think it's a good theme that fits for him either. He doesn't come off like this "I'm rich, got money" type baller pimp, and that's totally what the music sounds like. Like I don't. Do you like the
He's
music?
more of, I don't know what, I don't know. I mean, I think he's more of like a hardcore fast, maybe like a dubstep, not something like TJP's, but
You know, since a lot of people don't like 205 Live, a lot of people probably don't know what music we're talking about. So, Logan, this is the terrible music. Here it is. Let's listen to this great Cedric Alexander theme that sucks.
In the dark, I feel it home. Time has passed and now
Right there, Logan, is where it kills it for me. Is it me?
by the way, Jeff, I can't personally hear the song.
Well, I can hear it, and our listeners can hear it, and I apologize if you can't hear it.
But I do agree, the rapper is a little annoying. No, I can't hear it, but
well, it's a pity.
I just think,
You're not missing anything, though, really. It's not
but at the
good, and
same time,
you know what it is, though. You know what it is, and but yeah, let's get to right what this was with Cedric Alexander, Logan.
are we going into the match?
Sure.
Cedric Alexander versus NXT. Do we call him a NXT jobber?
Corey Hollis, who I did notice for once, one of the guys that Alexander's been facing, he was a enhancement talent. Enhancement talent, Logan. Barry Horowitz was enhancement talent. Yeah, he was a jobber on NXT before he was on 205.
NXT.
Yeah, Corey Hollis, the jobber. So
I'm gonna go right into it.
go to
The crowd was fucking dead.
This was really hard to watch, especially for a guy that worked so hard to come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is week 2 since his return.
I expected last week that he would get a big pop. Nothing. This week, I'm hope. Please give him at least something. Nothing. And it's not Cedric's fault. I don't think it's his fault. I think it's just the whole 205 Live people saying it's a flop. They're just not a fan base that's there, and I guess maybe they don't see much of Cedric Alexander, so
it's not that. They're fucking tired. These crowds are tired because they just sat through Nakamura and all the AJ Styles, all the guys they paid to see. That is why these are dead crowds. It's not because if Cedric Alexander would have opened SmackDown, people would have shit themselves on SmackDown. Oh, what? That crowd would have popped. That is the problem. That's exactly why, and it's fucking stupid to book it like the old ECW in like 2006 through 2010 when they did it, and it sucked then, and it's even worse now. And the reaction he got this week was less than last week, and last week's was nothing, and this is less than nothing this week. Nothing. Crickets. Fucking crickets. Like, and we're not even shitting you guys. Go back on the network and watch it. Crickets. I swear to Christ, there is nothing for Cedric Alexander, and it's a shame. It's a fucking crime, actually, because this guy deserves way better. Way better.
way much better. And another thing, I cannot stand, and I don't understand. I can't stand it, and I don't understand. Why the hell does 205 Live have fucking commercials?
Everything on the network has commercials. You know what? Shout out to that Jim Cornette table for three thing. You were telling me off air it was only what, like 19 minutes, right? You were surprised.
19
Was there commercials
minutes.
during that on top of it?
It was maybe like a second commercial, but I don't get it. Why are you throwing commercials on a live show that the please explain to me. Okay, this is supposed to be the most exciting hour on television,
Yep.
and you're putting commercials that's on WWE Network live. You can add so much to 205 Live if you get rid of the fucking commercials.
It's not even the commercials, man. Like you can NXT's so good, and they still have those dumb network commercials. It's just that they're literally saying it on the promos, the most exciting hour on television, and they've toned down the in-ring style and they've made it the opposite. And they have done exactly what they always fucking do. Whenever something changes, like when Finn Balor came up, when Samoa Joe's came up, whenever there's change, we always fear they're going to put their stamp of shit on it. And lo and behold, they did it again. And it's been months now. Like this was last fall the show debuted, correct?
Yes. And another thing that they're not pushing, and I wish they did push a lot more, is Grand Metalik. He needs to be utilized.
Well, they
He was
did.
the second,
They did. That's the fucking worst part. They did. They showed these vignettes,
and he lost.
and they're like, "Oh, he's coming," and even like Corey Graves every week be like, "Oh, he's coming," and then all of a sudden it was like he just showed up and then he jobbed out. They didn't even promote he was coming. He just showed up on a fucking episode out of nowhere. And who the fuck did he job to? Who did he job to? Noam Dar. Noam Dar of all people. Your favorite.
I mean, honestly, Grand Metalik was the second. He was the last
He was the
two
other
in the
goddamn
Classic.
finalist. He was the other guy in the finals of the tournament.
TJP, and TJP is getting more time than and then he comes in and loses to Noam Dar, which makes no sense to me.
I'm
I know
telling you,
you're
man,
pushing
that
Noam Dar.
that has got to be a situation where it's more than meets the eye. Like, there's got to be like he was a bigger name in Mexico, so I could totally see it being like the original Sin Cara was kind of a cocky prick and hard to work with backstage, just like Del Rio. All the bigger successful guys they bring in usually. It seems like Almas has been pretty chill, but he was also in Japan for a long time, and they don't put up with that kind of shit a lot as much as they would in Mexico, tolerating. But I could see a case of like Grand Metalik was hard to work with, or it could be like a contract dispute. Like maybe he's still under contract, like because I don't know a lot about his ties over there. So we don't know for sure. So this is all allegedly, you know what I'm saying? But still just a head scratcher with booking him. The last time we saw
Especially
him was when he
losing to
jobbed
Noam
to Noam
Dar.
Dar.
I, I see why he lost to Noam Dar, because they want the Noam Dar to be um get some wins and at least for the mixed tag team, I guess. But
You could have used
come
something
on now,
else.
Grand Metalik should not have been. Shit. I'd rather, honestly, I'd much rather see Corey Hallis lose to Noam Dar, and then have Grand Metalik face a Cedric Alexander and have it like a no contest or something, or
I'd
I
love to
just
see. I don't know
yeah.
your thoughts on three ways. I'd love to see Grand Metalik, no, not Noam Dar. Grand Metalik, Neville, and Cedric Alexander for the title. I think that would be an incredible match.
Why didn't they have? Why not have Cedric Alexander, Austin Aries, Grand Metalik, and Neville? Fatal four way.
Yeah, I'm sure we might get that in the future. Watch, they're gonna book that now that we said
But I have this funny feeling TJP is going to stay in
maybe.
that little circle.
Let's go ahead and talk about this match with Corey Hollis. Last week was the enhancement talent that we got in there with Cedric Alexander. Last week was hilarious. Johnny Boone getting his ass beat all over the place. This was a little bit
It
better,
was like
you know.
70-year-old guy.
Corey Hollis, who I think reminded me of Brad Maddox in a way, the way he looked. I thought he did well for an enhancement match. I thought that it was all right. And it made Alexander look strong. It just the no reaction. He got nothing except for his finish, and that didn't get a lot. The lumbar check when he hit it, I thought the crowd usually pops. Usually it was like it's like the red arrow used to be 2 years ago. It was like no matter how dead those crowds were, every time Neville hit a red arrow, like that would at least get one of the bigger pops tonight. But I thought that would happen here. Not really. Not really.
And I'm a big fan of his finisher. Really big fan.
I like it. I like it. It reminds me more of like what Roderick Strong would use. And I think I have seen him use it in ROH, but I think it's fine. I think it's badass, and I think it makes sense. And I like that they make it look strong, like no one's kicking out of it, because it needs to be that. It's an incredible move. It really is.
And you mentioned Roger Strong. I don't like his finisher. I'm not trying to go off topic.
Yeah, too many
I
guys are
don't.
using that is a whole other. Maybe we'll say that for the post show. Here's a sneak peek. Too many guys are using this Kinshasa running knee, whatever the fuck it is. Daniel Bryan, Drew McIntyre, fucking Nakamura. Who did you just say before that? Because I forgot. We're talking about Cedric Alexander, and then we mentioned somebody. Oh, Roderick
Roger
Strong.
Strong.
All these guys are using these running
Well,
fucking
Drew
kicks.
McIntyre is a big. Drew McIntyre is running big boots.
But it looks like it's done like the move all looks the same no matter what part of the body. It's a running strike, and all these guys are landing flat back. They're all doing it the same. Stop doing that. Roderick Strong especially should not have that finisher. I totally agree. But we'll get to that this Sunday because I know Michael wants to talk
Um,
about that. That's a big one. That's up there with dives.
I-
It's fucking
another.
dives and running strikes at this point.
I don't want to go off topic, but I have to say this because I'm probably going to forget. So I want to say it now so that, it doesn't happen. You know who else's finisher I really cannot stand? And I don't like it for two reasons. The perfect 10.
Oh yeah. Well, I like it. It just looks like it's a little dangerous. Like they might make him stop using it.
Oh, remember the first time he did it? It was the first he did it like that one move that he did the same. It was the same move AJ Styles uses, and everyone kicks out of it.
Right. Yeah.
And then when he changed it to what the
Tiebreaker.
kind of like the GTS type thing,
Yep.
it's like what happens when if somebody else comes up and he's kind of using the GTS. It looks similar. Too many people are using similar finishes, and I don't understand why.
It's polluted
I don't get it.
all over all promotions now. It's polluted with these. There's certain, and I'm open to everything, all kinds of styles. But man, when it starts to blend together, and I can notice it very easily, then it becomes a problem. And this running strike, like Logan just said, that move, the tiebreaker, whatever, it is. You need to think outside the box a little bit more. Like I think for me, honestly, the best match this week on 205 Live was Mustafa Ali and No Fly Zone Drew Gulak. I know. Come at me. I'm digging. It's my favorite guy on 205 Live right now. I'm saying it. He's my favorite fucking guy on 205 Live. For one, I was a Drew Gulak fan before, but they totally changed his character, like the Steven Richards character now. I like it, man. He's a hell of a wrestler. He really is.
I personally don't like um, him not liking, no fly zone. But I do agree, him being like he does kind of remind me so much of Steven Richards, and that's a good thing. I like
Like
it.
a
I like.
like a better Steven Richards, like in my opinion. I don't know for
Uh,
me. And I do like his little quote. I don't know if he called it post match. They did give him a short promo. It was like, uh, high flying doesn't pay. Staying grounded is the way. I fucking popped on that. That did get a pop for me. If
uh,
anything.
and I do like those interviews though after the match, like in the back, like right when they come out. I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I
that works.
think
That works on
I
any
like those kind of
platform wrestling
interviews.
show. I think that kind of promo should pretty much be on any show that has wrestling on it. Get that instant reaction right straight from the match. That's like some of the best moments, some of the best promos you'll ever get because the guys are usually blown up, they're tired, and they're so in character from just performing usually, and it benefits.
Yeah,
Um,
and they're basically caught off guard, so they have to say something on the fly. And like you said, you popped on what he said, and that's a good thing. He showed that he can really talk on the mic, even being thrown in there right after his match. Because he's you don't know what's in his mind. He's the he's just got all the you know
but not
you know
just
what I mean.
because
Like
not just because my two favorite guys on 205 Live right now were in this match. Mustafa Ali, which I love how they're booking him because you never hear him talk, and he probably isn't good on the mic. I'm assuming So it's good they don't let him talk. They let
I'm
us
not
over.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he's good on the mic or not. It wouldn't hurt to try to see, but
uh,
in ring,
no
he's
time soon.
fucking fantastic.
He is. He's fantastic. And you know what? One of the bigger reactions on this show was for Mustafa Ali. He did get like a
Yeah,
not quite a lukewarm resump because this crowd, you got to take your temperature gauge and you got to make up names like what's below lukewarm, like semi boner, semi something fucking. But it was that right above dead is what Mustafa Ali got, and it stood out to me because I think it's every week we're seeing him in there. Somehow they're throwing, and he's in the storyline now with Gulak, but he'd be an enhancement guy. But I think someone backstage saw like, man, this guy's doing shit we've never seen. He's getting himself over in matches. Mustafa Ali, if anything, if you're not a fan or not, you got to admit he's really good at getting the crowd behind him, Logan.
and that's it. I think part of the reason why he got the good reaction and it was when he basically got a little bit revenge on Drew Gulak after attacking him right before the bell. That also got me a pop because it shows a little bit more of intensity. It shows a little bit more aggression out of Mustafa Ali, and I think that helps him character wise. Because I mean, he got attacked a couple weeks ago. He's out. He's pissed off. He wants revenge.
Yeah. And go ahead, Logan. You know my piece on it. I thought the match was really good, exactly how I thought it would be. These guys, I actually liked the finish. It was just a simple wrestling move that won it, and that's what Drew Gulak promotes himself as: simple, grounded wrestling, and it got the
He
win,
won via roll up. He won via roll up after the crossbody by
reverse the
Mustafa
crossbody.
Ali,
Yep, by
and
Ali.
it was. I actually agree. I like the ending. See, this is what is missing in a lot of finishes. Like you, and Michael criticized the ending to Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. I much rather see AJ Styles hit the crossbody, Kevin Owens rolling him up and holding the tights.
Something simple and
You know what I
heelish.
mean?
And you know what? We didn't even talk about the best part of this, which is shocking. Drew Gulak came out with his sign, and he busted out a megaphone, which I thought was, throwback to Jimmy Hart, obviously, but he did it a little different. And, he had the siren at first, and he came down and he stood at the end of the ramp, started to cut a promo, and Mustafa Ali, like, out of nowhere, and they had the camera angle perfectly, so it looked like he came out of nowhere, and he did, like, a tope dive over the top rope onto Drew Gulak, and it looked sick. It looked like it hurt Drew Gulak because he didn't have a way to protect himself at all.
Um, I'm a big fan of these two. Mustafa Ali has just come a long way. You're a big fan of him. He can go in the ring, and I think that. See, this is why I think 205 Live is not a flop as well. All the talent that's on the roster for the division can fucking go.
Yeah. And a F bomb from Logan, and you know it's serious shit. And that's only live, by the way. You tune into these live, and you get Logan dropping F bombs. Look at that. And he's also a meme wizard now, guys, dropping Roman Reigns memes. So, God, you are upgrading your life, Logan. Jesus Christ, calm
And
it down over there.
and then I did the cat picture with Tiger Woods. That
You're
looked
gonna have
pretty
your own
funny.
agency here in a second. I'm gonna have to make an appointment to do one of these next week at this rate. But yeah,
Yeah.
this like we said, guys, this was a really good match. I would, if anything, go out of your way to catch this part of the show for me, because I'm a super nerd though. Like I always say, like I don't know, you guys might not like it, but I liked it. So fuck off if you don't. um,
This
un-
feud isn't over, Travis, and I think the bigger picture is Mustafa Ali will end up beating Drew with all kinds of high flying maneuvers, and I think it will benefit in the ending. Can we both agree that this little feud, the whole no fly zone, is a better is better than the mixed tag team storyline? It's better to me personally for than the Austin Aries and Neville match, like the storyline, and it's also better than the Brian Kendrick and
yeah,
Tozawa feud.
I think the Tozawa feud's probably been the best feud they've had. I think we said last week. It was, a good payoff last week. Um, what wasn't a good
It wasn't
payoff
good.
though? What wasn't good, Logan? Because we got to wrap this up. It's getting real late, and we appreciate if anyone has stopped by the chat or anything tonight or caught us live. We did go late unannounced. But yeah, guys, this show capped off with Austin Aries coming out with a banana, which was it's still weird they let him do whatever, but he let the fans touch the banana, so that got a chuckle out of me too. But I don't know, I don't get it. What do you think about the banana?
Okay. Um, it's just a banana spot.
It's a banana spot. But yeah, Austin Aries
Hashtag.
coming out first, cutting a promo like we got in the opening vignette, pretty much recapping the feud. And on Raw, if you didn't catch it, he only said it 27,000 fucking times here with the crowd chanting. He tapped out, and I get it. It did what it meant to do. It got the words to stick, and it had the crowd chanting it by the end of the entire night. And that's what chants are designed to do sometimes, but sometimes it's annoying. But this was annoying for me.
Austin Aries actually had a bigger reaction from the crowd at the ending of 205 Live than anything beforehand, uh, other than Mustafa Ali. And because the "You tapped out" chant was a bigger reaction than what Cedric Alexander got, and it's a head scratcher on why, because I don't get it.
I don't know. But yeah, let's get through what this was, Logan. It was Austin Aries talking shit, recapping, showing clips of Neville tapping out for the first time. Apparently, he probably tapped out as a babyface. We just don't remember it when he was a mid card guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Neville came out
yep.
after Austin Aries talking, and he said that Austin Aries got lucky in how he carries himself just like Atlanta, Georgia. He calls him a disease and a scum of 205 Live. And then the fans began the tapped out chants, and give props to what Neville did. He
Yeah.
got a reaction from the crowd from just a simple, mention of where they're at, Atlanta, Georgia, and how Austin Aries carries himself just like them, and
He was
saying how
also
he got
really
lucky.
amped. I remember when Neville came out, like he was so like loud and angry. I noticed that immediately, and that's what's great about what he's been doing.
And I think the fan he basically fed off what the fans did, and the fans fed off what Neville was doing. Because if you watched it, the fans began to do the "You tapped out" chants, and then it was pissing Neville off more. So then they kept doing it and got louder, and that's the type of reaction that you know to me I love to see when I'm watching a show.
Exactly, and Neville does great, and we've praised Neville all the time. If you guys watch Neville, he totally stands out, head and shoulders above the rest, right up there with anyone in the entire company, in my opinion, and Logan's opinion. And if you just know wrestling promos in general, Neville's firing on all cylinders. Like I feel like we're broken records praising the man every week. Just he impresses, and he definitely backs up in
But
ring.
he deserves
Yeah,
he deserves everything that positive that we say about him. Um, and then he also stated basically he was going to destroy Austin Aries on Sunday. Um, and then he ended his promo with 205 Live is his kingdom. And I love that. I love that about Neville. It is his kingdom. We can't really argue that it's not.
they've booked him strong, man. Knock on fucking wood. They booked him strong. And like I said at the very top of this show tonight, I think we're still through the dominant heel reign. I think Aries is going to be enhancement talent. And to cap off the night, you said it also earlier. This pissed you off. You're tired of seeing 205 live shows end with these heel beatdowns, and I agree. It was irritating. Where was Jack Gallagher? Like we mentioned, Logan. It was just yes, it made Neville and TJ Perkins look strong again, but it didn't benefit Austin Aries in this even Steven back and forth bullshit of Neville tapping last night, Aries getting suckered this night. Yes, it was heelish to use 2 against 1 with TJ Perkins. I don't know. It's just overkill. Hmm.
It is overkill. Tell me how many times in the past couple weeks on 205 Live that they or on Monday Night Raw that TJP and Neville hasn't attacked Austin Aries. And what does it benefit after the first attack? We've seen it. Okay, yeah, you can use two on one, and then where the hell was Jack Gallagher tonight? It's just 1 week he's there to help him, and then 1 week he's not. It
Yeah.
makes no damn sense.
Hell of a friend. Hell of a friend to have your back. I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't rely on Jack Gallagher if I need him to help me out if I need to move or anything else in real life besides have my back in wrestling. They're not booking him like a good friend.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Me and Travis is on the reset at recess. You know, we're like 10 years old, okay? And 1 week I see these bullies attack Travis. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to help Travis. The next week, oh, I see him getting beat up. Oh, what the hell? I'm not going to do anything. Why the hell wouldn't I? Where was I?
Maybe
You
you
know,
found maybe you
if you
found
were a
out a
friend,
girl
you,
liked me, and I don't know. Maybe we had a grudge. Who knows? Who the
uh,
fuck knows?
I just don't get it. But I do like the fact that Neville was being pushed that he can tap. But the question is, Travis,
Yeah,
on Sunday at Extreme Rules in the submission match, will Neville tap?
I think he will. Oh, I'm sorry. No, he won't. I predicted Neville to win. I do not think Neville will tap. I think they keep playing off of this knee. There's a reason the knee keeps being brought up. And I think somehow, some way, it's going to be like a Steve Austin having to tap at WrestleMania 13 in my head. Like, it's not going to make him look weak. It's going to make him look like he gave it everything and he had no choice but to tap. But I think Neville is going to make him tap. I really do. And I think it's going to be that Bret Hart Steve Austin match kind of way. Tell me you can't see that in your head as a scenario.
That Austin Aries taps out like what happened with Austin.
Because Neville just goes after that hurt knee, and at the end of the day, they've been playing up that knee throughout this entire thing for like a month now. You know what I mean? And plus, if that doesn't fail, they can go back to the old eye socket thing because he had the eye injury. There's a lot of injuries they've like kind of snuck in there, thrown in there to keep in your mind that, oh yeah, his knee's hurt, and they show that definitely here at the attack, the end of the show this week, and I just think that's how they're going to do it with Neville. And I still think it's too soon to take the title off Neville. He hasn't been dominant enough. I know people don't have long attention spans, but people need to get the fuck over it. I just think Neville deserves that title, like we both said. This division needs a dominant heel champion. I think, like with Pete Dunne now, and I'm really happy Pete Dunne finally has the UK title. With that show starting up soon, sometime this fucking year. Um, yeah, you for a promotion, you need to. A baby face is a really good way to kick off as your first champion ever, but it's got to eventually go to a dominant heel champion. And I think having it on Neville, it's still quite too short to pull the plug.
And you heard my opinion. I think Austin Aries will win, but I could also see Neville also being in that same spot as Stone Cold, and where he's in the last chancery for the longest time, and he finally has to tap out. But I will say this:
So that you
it,
think they would turn him babyface then already, like they did Austin?
no, 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 no. I think he would. It They will try to show that Neville will try to stay in. You know, I just don't see Neville just being put into submission and tapping right off the bat. I think they're going to push it where he's going to try to get out of it as much as he can, and then it's just going to be to the point where he can't. You know, I can see it in the other way around. But to your credit, I could see Austin Aries, being, with the knee and all that, and being put in a submission. He just has no choice to tap out. Either way, I think it won't hurt any of these two in this submission match.
I think it could hurt Neville. I think there's a bigger possibility of Neville coming out hurt more than an Aries because I think Aries is at a point in his career where he can pretty much be over no matter how he's booked for the most part. He's an established Impact TNA guy. People know he can go in the ring. He's also a big-time former Ring of Honor guy. A lot of people don't talk about, by the way. At the end of the day, I'd like to think of him as a Ring of Honor alumni more than a TNA guy because he did great things. Him and Roderick Strong as a tag team in TNA and Ring of Honor was great. They were great. And when he was a heel in Ring of Honor as A Double with the All Night Express, as much as I don't really like that Kenny guy, you know who I'm talking about. The talk shit with Jim Cornette. I can't think of his name. I just know his name's Kenny. He's like a male stripper now. And and the other guy with long hair. What's his face? But anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. I think Neville's going to retain this Sunday night. Speaking of this Sunday night, Logan, this will be the first time with Matt Tennant and yourself, but I know Michael. I haven't talked to him a lot this week. He's had some situations, some moving stuff going on. But Logan, are you prepared for round 27 with Michael this week on the post-show Extreme Rules?
Yeah, I mean, I think we bumped heads on the last post show. I'm with Michael, and I think I'm most excited about doing I'm always excited to do a podcast with Travis because Travis is my dog. He's my boy.
Fucking right. Thank you.
I'm excited to be on the podcast with Matt. And shout out to Union Smack. I'm giving you a little pop because I love the show.
Yeah, guys, also be sure to check out, probably tomorrow or the next day, dropping Union Smack Episode 2. We're doing One Night Only 97 because we're just waiting on that UK show to drop, and then it's on like Donkey Kong. Logan, real quick before we see you this Sunday night, Extreme Rules Live post show to plug it one last time. Where can everyone check you out?
Everybody can check me out on Twitter at Logan Myers 144. And also, guys, don't forget, me and Travis talked about it before we went on air tonight, that the Mae Young Classic Women's Tag Team Tournament, we will be doing something with doing a podcast for that show. We're going to talk to see if Matt would like to do it with us.
I'm sure.
So,
well, we're going to have a three-way Pally
that?
special. We're going to have the Mae Young Classic this summer. Look for it dropping. Thank you for announcing it, Logan. Definitely big-time collab three-way with Matt. That, and follow me on Twitter at TheHibikitMD. Logan, until this Sunday, man. This has been 205. Hopefully we have a 205 around long enough to talk about, but we actually did it live ourselves for once. So thank you, my man, for doing this live.
Hey, I enjoyed it. Austin Aries is winning.
We will see. And if you know what, let's make a little friendly bet. If he doesn't win, you're watching a Best of Ernest Miller compilation that I'm going to make, and I'm going to send it to you. And you have to watch it.
Son of a... Okay.
And you think of a punishment for me. I'm sure you can conjure up something in your little brain, your little crazy